Hey everybody, welcome back to the show. It's me. I'm the host of the show, the movie review show, and I'm gonna review them. I've got 3 movies to talk about today, so we're gonna speed this whole intro shit along. We're just gonna talk. I'm just gonna talk. I'm a talker. Haven't you noticed? Can't you tell? I like to talk about movies and other stuff too, but mostly movies. I saw 3 of them. In case that wasn't obvious enough from the title, because I just fucking said it. I saw 3 movies. I saw Megalopolis, I saw Joker 2, and I saw The Wild Robot. And I think I have enough to say about all of them, / not enough, so I feel like I'm just gonna cram them all into one video. We're just gonna do it. We're gonna get started. So Megalopolis, let's start with that. If you don't care about Megalopolis, skip to the next one. I think I'll have timestamps down there probably. And you could just watch whichever ones you care about. So Megalopolis. I guess I'll start with some context, because context is important, I guess. I don't think I've ever even seen a Francis Ford Coppola movie. Really thinking about it, I don't think I even have. So I can't even give you this is what I thought about his other ones. Dude, I haven't even seen The Godfather. I don't fucking know. I don't know why you even watched this. Why do you care about my opinion? I haven't even seen the fucking Godfather. It insists upon itself, Lois. I don't know. Megalopolis, it was funny as fuck. Even if none of it was intentional, even if this was fully supposed to be taken seriously, which I can't believe is true. It's not possible. He had to have known that a lot of this was very funny. But even if he didn't know, it doesn't even matter, because it's the funniest movie I've ever seen. I think the closest thing I can compare it to is The Room, which sounds so crazy to say out loud, but it's actually true. This feels like a cult movie waiting to happen. I can see it. I can see it all now, the midnight screenings of this fucking movie. Because there's so many lines in this that are quotable and hilarious and visuals and just I can see it. The same way that people throw fucking forks and shit, plastic forks or spoons when they watch The Room. I can see it for the part where Adam Driver is talking to the fucking guy, the real actor in the audience, and everyone stands up and goes up to the screen. I just see it, right? Am I crazy? Am I crazy right now? Do I sound like the Joker? Because I feel like this is real. The energy was palpable. I went to see this movie, and everyone I saw it with, there was a bunch of people behind us. They'd all seen the movie before, and we were getting so into it. My buddy next to me, he was super drunk, and I felt like I was fucking drunk because we were just clapping and doing fucking standing ovations during the movie, and nobody cared. I know that this is gonna sound like a fucking everybody clapped moment, and you're not gonna believe me, but I swear to God, this actually happened. An older guy, he was he looked like he was in his 50s. He walked up to us after the movie and he said, "Hey, were you kids the ones clapping?" And we were like, maybe. And then he goes, "That was funny shit, man. You guys saved that shitty movie." And then he left and we were like, so yeah, man, Megalopolis, fun with a crowd. If you get the right crowd, this could be the best theatrical experience you've had all year. And for me, I actually think it was. This might be my favorite movie of the year, solely based on the fact that if you watch it with the right crowd, it's fucking hilarious. So yeah, I could just as easily see you watching this with a crowd that's very bored and not getting engaged with it at all, and it could be one of the worst theatrical experiences of the year. It's really up in the air. All I know is you don't really have much longer to see it because it's bombing harder than the Hindenburg, so good luck. But wait 10 more years and you'll fucking see. I feel it now. I predict it now. This is gonna be a hit. Years from now. Cult hit, The Room level. I feel it. The energy is palpable. It's possible. I know it. Anyway, that's it for Megalopolis. I don't really know what you want. I can't critique it as a movie, I think. It doesn't, it rejects, it rejects any kind of real criticism, I think. It's just so batshit and so insane and so clearly expensive, and no one told him no. No one told anybody no while making it. It was like, you want to do that? Sure, fuck it, it's your money. Francis Ford Coppola just burned fucking, what, $200 million in front of us, and we get to see it. And thank God we get to, because it's amazing. So yeah, go watch Megalopolis. It's hilarious. Next up, I saw Joker 2. I think this will probably take up the bulk of this video. Because I think I have a lot to say about Joker 2. Let's do it. Let's unpack this, folks. Joker Folie et Deux is the sequel to the 2019 film Joker. So, hey, let's do it. Context, because context is important. I watched that movie on opening night when it first came out, the original Joker movie, 2019. And I really liked it. I understand that nowadays, I mean, even back then, really, like, I can't pretend like it's just like a new thing that everybody kind of hates on that movie. It's very funny and easy to hate on it. Even me, like, even as someone who likes it, it's such an easy punchline to make, is fucking the Joker, because it just is funny. No matter in what context the Joker just becomes funny. But I like that movie a lot. I think it's really good. It's very memorable. Like, to this day, I can, you know what I mean? Like, I can vividly remember, like, watching that fucking talk show scene. You know what I mean? Like, everyone can quote that movie. It's going to be remembered for years to come, for better or for worse. You know what I mean? I don't think that anybody can even argue that. It is a memorable movie, and it was a hit for a reason, because it is engaging. It's a genuinely engaging movie. Like, when you get to that fucking talk show scene, like, I'm locked in every time. I'm like I'm fucking riding that movie, bro. Like, it's good. It's a good movie. I don't care what anybody says. It's a cool movie. To be fair, it's been a few years since I've seen it. Maybe I'll rewatch it and go, okay, fine, you guys are right. But here's the thing. I think it gets a lot of shit for being, like, derivative of The King of Comedy, Taxi Driver, whatever. That's fair. I understand that. But I don't think a movie being derivative necessarily makes it bad automatically. I've seen The King of Comedy. I've seen Taxi Driver. And I don't know. I think King of Comedy is probably better than Joker. But Taxi Driver? This is going to be the thing that finally disqualifies any opinion I've ever had on a movie. But I actually think I like Joker more than Taxi Driver. Like, if I could only watch one right now, like if somebody like was like, you have to watch one right now, like at gunpoint, I think I would do Joker. I'm going to be so for real. It's just, I just like it better. I don't know what to say. I don't necessarily think it's a deeper movie than Taxi Driver, which I think is why people get so annoyed about this. So, like, you know, of course, when you swim in a pool, what is it? Right. If you've never swam in an ocean, of course a pool seems deep or something. I saw that review somewhere about this movie. And, like, sure, I guess, but, like, it doesn't mean, like, the pool isn't fun to swim in. Like, I don't know. Right? Am I crazy? Am I crazy for just, like, not caring if it's not a deeper movie or not? It's a more enjoyable movie. I like watching it more. It's a better, more entertaining experience for me. But anyway, we're not talking about the first movie, even though I just spent like 4 fucking minutes talking about it. We're talking about Joker 2. Or, honestly, this might be kind of a strange take. I don't really consider this Joker 2. It's more like Joker epilogue. Like, it doesn't, not much happens in it. It's a very slow movie. And I really liked it. I really liked that. Which is, whoa, crazy reveal. I actually really liked Joker 2. I'm shocked because it seems like everybody hates this fucking movie. And for the life of me, as I was watching it, I couldn't really understand why. Is it just, like, the toxic fanboy people who hate this? I'm really wondering. I'm struggling to kind of, like, latch on to a reason why people might hate this. I guess this is one where I am going to get into spoilers. So, like, if you haven't seen it yet, or if you don't care, I guess you can keep watching. But if you haven't seen it yet and you do want to watch it, then maybe hold off, skip to the next one, or just come back to this later. But the only thing I can think of is just the fact that it kind of retroactively implies that he wasn't really the Joker after all, I guess. It's kind of a weird an interesting twist at the end that I'm actually a huge fan of. I think it kind of like recontextualizes the last movie in a really interesting way, or at the very least makes that one more clear, because I do think there was a lot of people who misinterpreted it as like a triumphant kind of thing, like when he finally becomes Joker. And I never really took it that way, but I guess there was a lot of people who did. So as much as it kind of pains me to say it, this movie does kind of feel necessary. And I think that is probably why a lot of people hate it, is just because it really just rips down that first movie and is like, don't fucking stop it. Why do you think he's cool? um, and it's like there's like an interesting kind of like connection between him and Lady Gaga's Harley Quinn, who does a great job, by the way. She's not really in it that much, but she serves a really interesting role. I think this one, and this is going to sound so fucking stupid to say about Joker 2, but I'm going to say it anyway. It's a deeper movie than the first one. There's more to unpack here. The first one, I would say, is probably the more enjoyable movie. Just like, if I had to rewatch one right now, I would probably pick the first one. But like, as a like thought-provoking piece, which again is... I know it's Joker 2, okay? I know. Get your fucking film bro shit out of my face. I understand that. You know, I'm not saying it's the deepest movie in the world. But, like, as something that would actually kind of get you to think, I think the second one is better. I think there's more to unpack there. There's a lot of layers going on with obviously, like, our lead character, the Joker, and kind of how he sees himself as these two personalities, or at least his therapist or whatever. Was that? No, that was his lawyer. Sorry. His lawyer kind of sees him as like two personalities split. And the conclusion the movie comes to at the end is that no, it's not two separate characters. He is just Arthur, and he rejects the Joker. There's this really great scene, which again, a lot of people are shitting on online, where his buddy from the first movie, Puddles, his name is, walks into the courtroom, and then he does like this, the witness testimony. And I think that's my favorite scene in the movie. Like, you really fucking feel it. He's a really good fucking actor. The guy who plays Puddles, your name is Puddles. He does this fucking stupid voice. Anyway, but he's a really, really unfortunate, sad character. When this guy starts talking, I'm like, oh my god, this is so sad. He's like, Arthur, you're the only one who was ever nice to me. I'm like, oh my god, like, this is so sad. And yeah, I don't know. I felt it. Like, I felt the emotions in this movie pretty strongly. I don't think it's like one of the best movies I've seen of all time or anything, but it's one of my favorites of the year, to be honest with you. I really like the kind of ultimate conclusion that it comes to with Arthur's character. And it's a very tragic story. I mean, by the end of it, like, you do kind of feel bad for him. Like, again, like, I know he's the fucking Joker. And by the end of the first movie, like, your sympathy has to kind of wane a little bit thin, but it's a very tragic story. You know what I mean? He was like abused since he was a fucking kid, and like, he went through all this shit, and he didn't want to do this. He wanted to be fucking funny, and then everyone shat on him. I don't know. I feel bad. It makes me sad, this poor fucking guy. And I think ultimately it's like he couldn't really be the Joker. You know what I mean? After watching that first movie, it's like, did you really buy that? Did anybody ever really buy that? That this guy could become the Joker? Like, he was always too sad. He was just too pathetic of a character. I just felt too bad for him. And so I think the ending it comes to is like, it's a necessary conclusion that he dies at the end. And he can't really ever escape what he started. You know what I mean? Like, he snapped, and there was consequences for that. You know what I mean? He does face consequences. I mean, ultimately he dies. He was doomed from the second he fucking killed those guys on the subway. Like, that was it, right? Like, he can't keep running forever. And it was interesting to kind of like watch him come to terms with that, and then see the cycle of the continuing violence that continued like after what he did, you know. And now there's like another Joker, you know. The second that guy walked out in the back with him, by the way, I was like, he's gonna stab him, he's gonna stab him, he's gonna stab him. I knew it, and then he did. You know, not to say like I'm a fucking genius. I think anybody could have called that, but still, I was like, haha, I knew. But yeah, just like, you know, and then he dies, and you're like, fuck. And then there's this other guy who's the Joker now, and you're like, oh shit. I don't know. It's a good movie. Great movie, even, honestly. I think you could make the argument it's better than the first one. And again, I think I already said this, so sorry if I'm repeating myself, but I don't even really fully see it as a sequel. I think it is basically just like an extended epilogue to the first movie. That's what it feels like to me. They should probably be watched back to back. Like, really, like if you're going to watch one, you should watch the other, because it almost feels like the first movie's incomplete now, knowing kind of where it goes. And I guess let's talk about that musical thing. Why was everyone so mad about that? It was very tastefully done, I felt. Like, I was watching it, the characters would start singing, and I kept waiting for it to be cringe, and then it just wasn't. It was never cringe. It was very tastefully done. The songs were all like classic songs. Like, I don't even think there was an original song in the movie. It was like kind of like a jukebox musical, but they were all like what do people hate about the music in this? Why is it cringe that they sing? I don't get it. I think I just don't have that like anti-musical bone in my body. Like when Wonka fucking came out, I was like, man, this movie looks like it's gonna be shit. And then I found out it was a musical, and I was like, I'm in. Like, I don't know. I guess I just like musicals. I'm into that shit. Again, I'm not saying there's like any particularly crazy, outstanding musical moments in this, but they were all pretty good. Like, I kept thinking, like, yeah, this is great. If anything, they could have fucking sung more, and I wouldn't have complained. So I don't know, man. No issue there. Lady Gaga was really good in it. Again, not in it that much, and it does kind of feel like some stuff with her was cut. That's what I keep hearing online now. So hey, release the Gaga cut. I would like to see more. But for what it was I thought it was a great performance, and I thought that I kind of liked the way that her and Arthur kind of like played off of each other. In again, what limited scenes we had with them, because I think it was really interesting what they did with her. I was not expecting that, I have to say. And yeah, man, Joker 2, our Joker epilogue. It was really good. I really liked it. I actually recommend it, even though it seems like nobody else does. So maybe I'm just crazy, and if you watch it, you're going to hate it. So I don't know. Maybe don't watch it. Do what you want. I don't care. I'm not your puppet master. Anyway, then I watched The Wild Robot. I watched Joker and Wild Robot on the same day, so it was kind of a weird double feature. And it was really cute. It was really fun. I really liked The Wild Robot. Excuse me. Would I say I loved it? Honestly, I'm gonna say no. This is a rare animated movie hot take from me, because usually I like something like this on paper feels like it's so up my alley and so perfect, and everything I was hearing about it was positive. I mean, fuck, I haven't heard a single negative thing about this movie at all. Like, nobody. Every review I watched was just praise the entire time. Nobody said anything negative. So I was like, wow, this must literally be the best movie ever made. And like, honestly, it's one of those movies that's like so perfect that it almost just like kind of bothers me. Is that weird? I liked it. Sorry, for the record, I want to make it very clear. It's like an 8 out of 10 for me. It's a great movie. Like, go watch it if you haven't seen it yet, because you will like it. I feel like it's basically impossible to hate. It's very charming. It's very likable, and the animation's very nice, and the characters are all well developed and cute and fun, and I like it. It's a good movie. But what the fuck? People are acting like this thing was the second coming of Christ. Like, I was really confused. I mean, when Puss in Boots 2 came out, and people were saying, like, this is the best fucking movie ever made, I was like, okay, I'll be the judge of that. And then I saw it, and it fucking was. I was like, okay, wow, whoa. Like, I can't even argue. Like, this is the best movie ever made. And then it became my fucking favorite, it's like one of my favorite movies ever, right? The Wild Robot, people were basically talking about it almost the same as they were talking about Puss in Boots 2. So I was like, okay, man, fuck it. All right, I'm locked in. Let's go. Let's watch it. And yeah, I mean, like, it was good. Like, it was really good. But I mean, y'all fucking come on now. Let's take it down a notch. It's great, really good, but like top 5 DreamWorks movies? No. Like, we're not in that ballpark. It's very good though, and I do recommend it. I think it's very fun. I think some of my issues with it, I mean, again, it's almost so perfect that I can't really say I have issues with it. It's just like the things that I think are really hitting for everybody else are only hitting for me like, yeah, I felt it. I teared up while watching it. I'm not going to say I didn't. I'm not a fucking monster. But I didn't like fully sob. And it felt like there were moments that were almost like my cue to. And then I was like, I mean, I don't know. It's fine. I think the movie kind of takes a weird turn in the third act where I sort of start to care a little bit less. Uh, there's, I think the entire first scene with that fucking, where the goose or whatever the fuck is a baby. I guess spoilers kind of now, but again, like you'll be fine. I think, it's the wild robot. Like it's not fucking, like I think spoilers wouldn't ruin this one for you. Like you're pretty much gonna like it or you won't. But again, if you really don't want to hear it, then just stop the video now because this is the last movie I'm talking about. But anyway, so if that goose had stayed a baby for the whole movie, I think I probably would have liked it a lot more. Or if it had like just aged up near the end, because I really didn't like the direction for that character. I just found it, he just was so whiny and annoying. Like I hated the voice. I think honestly, they could have basically sold the entire movie a lot better if they just picked a different fucking voice for that goose. I really didn't like the voice they picked. I think the main voice for like the main robot, Roz, I didn't like it at first. I was like, I don't know. I didn't really like the vocal direction. But then as the movie went on, I really started to gel with it and I liked it a lot. But the goose never grew on me. I found it very annoying. It was very reminiscent of two voices, and I want you to tell me what you all think of this. Arthur from Shrek the Third, Justin Timberlake, fucking teenage kid from Shrek 3, and the wolf from Three Pigs and a Baby, if anybody even knows what the fuck I'm talking about. Those were like the two characters that like really captured the range that I was getting from that goose. And I really hated it. I found it very annoying. Those are like two of the most annoying characters ever. So I didn't like to be reminded of that. And I guess there's like not much they could have done. Like it seems like everybody else is connecting with this fine. So maybe it's just me. But I actually really think that the goose's voice is such a barrier of entry for me that I'm never going to like truly love this movie because I'm always going to find the goose a little bit annoying. And if you find him a little bit annoying, you can't like it. Like you can't fully enjoy it anyway, because he's such a major part of the movie and his arc is like so crucial to everything that you have to care a little bit. And I have to say they didn't do a great job. And it felt like the pacing was very quick. And you know me, like I like a fast-paced movie. Again, I fucking love Puss in Boots 2. That's one of the fastest-paced movies like ever. So I always point to that as like an example of like absolutely perfect pacing in an animated movie where like it's fast, but everything still has time to sink in and you still really feel it. This movie, I think, does a decent job, but man, sometimes it'll just like cut to the next scene and I'm just like, huh? Okay, we're here now? All right. Like it just like, it moves, you know? And I almost think it could have done with a bit more like meandering. And you could have cut the entire third act. Like pretty much the whole thing. It's a very unnecessary sequence. Like it's this big action scene with this robot trying to take her away and take her memories or whatever. And then here's the thing that gets me is they have that big scene and then immediately afterwards she just goes like, they're never going to stop looking for me. I guess I just got to do it. And I was like, huh? And then she just like does the homing thing again and then calls them back. And I was like, that's stupid because you could have combined those into one scene and it would have been perfectly fine. You could have had the big goodbye with the goose and then have that robot call to her and be like, we're never going to stop looking for you. And then she has the realization and then just goes up right away with that first ship. You didn't need to have a second ship. You didn't need to have all this bullshit. That would have been enough. And then, you know, they have to have the cute, sad kids movie ending, but then, oh, it's okay. It's all fine at the end. The robot remembers. And yeah, I mean, that's what you want. Emotionally, that's what I wanted. But I felt like it was all very like rushed and very quick. The way that they kind of wrap everything up at the end. And it's weird. It's both too quick and too long. I think the whole action scene bullshit is just, I feel like if I ever watch this movie again, that's going to be something that I'm just going to want to kind of like Okay, like let's get through the big action scene at the end because I didn't think it needed it. Right? Like this movie has a lot of action throughout. I didn't think it needed this big, huge climax with all these robots chasing them through the woods. We didn't need that. Or if you did, it could have been much faster and much more streamlined. You didn't need to kind of drag out the third act. And yeah, so those are kind of like some of my big complaints. There's a Fox character, and I liked him too, generally. But again, he just has this tone of speaking that just like, it feels like they're writing him to be the fan favorite character. Like, I'm like, oh yeah, this is the one that all the Tumblr kids are gonna love. And I'm like, okay, like, we get it. You can write a fucking mischievous guy. And, he's cute. He's cute. I'm not, like, again, like, I'm not going to pretend as if I wasn't charmed a little bit because, like, that makes me seem kind of like a heartless monster, especially if you've seen this movie before and you're watching this review. Like, wow, why are you such a monster? I liked it, but I just felt like, again, with the Fox, I was like, okay, I almost feel manipulated by this. Like, yeah, he's charming, but, like, it doesn't feel organic to me. It feels very, like, made. Does that make sense? Am I crazy? I feel like I'm crazy. Because I like the movie a lot, and yet for some reason there's like this barrier that's kind of like keeping me from like really loving it. And I think those are kind of my big three. Is just like the third act is kind of bullshit. I hate the stupid fucking Goose character. I don't like him. And the Fox just feels manufactured to me. Like I don't feel like they kind of naturally came to this like mischievous kind of, for lack of a better word, ENTP Fox character. And like, I think, and again, and I did laugh at some of his jokes. I'm not going to pretend like he wasn't charming at all. But again, like it feels very forced to me. I think a lot of this movie does feel a bit forced. Like there's some things I'm like, oh man, I feel like if you just did it a little bit differently, if you had that line a little bit adjusted, this would be the best movie of the year. But there's something, and I can't quite grasp what it is. Maybe I got to watch it again. I don't know. But yeah, I do recommend it for the record. I think this is the most negative review of this entire video, but I want to make it very clear. Out of all of these, I actually think this is the one I recommend the most, which is pretty funny. I think I'm more hard on things that are like so close like this. Like it's like just at the finish line, but it isn't quite there. But I think most people it is going to be there for, because again, as I said before, this is like probably the most positively reviewed movie I've ever heard of in my life. Like there's nothing that's like this unanimous. So like you're going to like it. I liked it. Even as someone who has probably more problems with it than most, I really liked it. So I don't know. Make of that what you will. It is really sad that it's the last DreamWorks movie. This is a I'm not going to say a fun fact because it's really not a fun fact, but for those of you who don't know, DreamWorks Animation Studios, they were bought out by Universal, and I guess they've slowly kind of been phasing out their in-house animation department, and this is actually the last movie that is produced by them. So you are still going to see DreamWorks logos. I mean, fuck, they're making Shrek 5, but they're going to have like it seems from my understanding of it, there's still going to be like an internal like story crew and everything like that. But in terms of their animation, they're shipping that all out overseas and to various other animation studios. If you ask me, I'm going to put my thinking cap on. This is kind of a crackpot theory, but I still feel like it's possible, is Illumination and DreamWorks will one day just combine into one entity. That's what I think. They're both owned by the same parent company. I don't think they're seeing a need to have two separate animation studios. And as it seems, Chris Meledandri, the guy who kind of runs the show over at Illumination, seems to be taking a lot of like leadership roles over at DreamWorks. I mean, I think he's like one of the main producers on Shrek 5. So yeah, I think that's kind of the direction we're going, which is sad to say because DreamWorks was one of the best to ever do it. I'll be honest with you. I mean, yeah, like they were very inconsistent. For every, you know what I mean? For every Kung Fu Panda, you had a Shark Tale, but that was kind of the fun of it. You know, it was fun. So yeah, folks, Wild Robot, last one, and it is sad to see that. Though apparently they're going to make sequels, so I guess what? They're just going to farm, I don't know, I guess they're going to farm everything out to other overseas studios. That's, we'll see. We'll see. We'll see. Could be good, but, you know, I miss the days when you had these big, sprawling animation campuses on, you know what I mean, like in-house, and they would fucking make these awesome movies. I mean, Pixar's going the same way, so it is sad to see. Though I guess a lot of those jobs are going to come up here to Canada, so, you know, could be cool. Anyway, folks, thanks for watching the video today. Kind of ended on a downer note, I guess. I'm kind of sad about that now. But anyway, all three of these movies I actually recommend for kind of different reasons altogether. And I'm going to say actually 8 out of 10 for all of them. Megalopolis actually is probably a 10. Like, it's literally, here's the thing about Megalopolis, it's a 10 or it's a 1. There's no, like, I can't, like, I see people rating it kind of in the middle and I can't wrap my head around it. Like, it's a 10 or it's a 1. I don't know. That's just me. But Joker and Wild Robot, I'm probably going to give an 8, to be honest with you. So yeah, folks, see you on the next one. I don't know what that's going to be. If something really, like, you know, hits my brain when I'm watching it, like, oh man, you know what I mean? I'm going to come here and I'm going to review it. But for the most part, I think I'm going to try to keep it to just like, if I have something I really feel like I have to say about it, then I will do a review. Because sometimes I feel like I want to review it, but then I just like I don't know, nothing's like coming to mind really to talk about. These ones I felt like I had kind of enough to say. So yeah, guys, see you on the next one, whenever that is. And yeah, comment what you think of the video and like it and subscribe it if you want to, but you don't have to. But comments are the most fun. I like those the best. Okay, bye guys. See ya.